Greetings. My name is Earl Bradley, owner of Bradley Development LLC. My company is specialized in procurement transaction. We specialize in governmental contracts being awarded. And my company is very unique because we're the only ones that's there. We're the company that can guarantee you at least a minimum of 55% chance of being awarded that contract. Now, how is that possible? Well, it's possible because Dr. King set the stage in reference to CDBG funding. That is your reparation. No, it is not solely for African Americans. No, that's not the reparation that you've been waiting for. But this is a source of reparation. And this source of reparation is what Bradley Development LLC will be able to convey to you in the services that we provide to make sure that we can change what the disparity study of 2011 has stated. It stated that in the Commonwealth of Virginia, 98% of governmental contracts have been awarded to white firms. How is that so? 98%, and 2% among the 5 minority groups, which are defined as those disadvantaged groups. There's your reparation. So you go from the Department of Transportation initiating through the Supreme Court strict, narrow, tailored programs to address those who have been in a disadvantaged position, which is in line with the name of the show, Reparation, that you must tune into August 4th at 12 noon on www.richmondsoulradio.com. Tune in to begin to understand how you can get your reparation. Let's quickly look at the definition. The making of amends for a wrong one has done by paying money to or otherwise helping those who have been wronged. There is your community development block grant funding. Just as they did the Native Americans with the community block grant as well as the land, they did the same for the disadvantaged community, not strictly the Black American, African Americans, but that we would discuss. So Bradley Development LLC is engaging you to understand and how to appreciate what is already there for you to benefit. Let's change this 98% to make sure that the 98% is in the hands of the Section 3 residents as it should be, that is in the hands of the MBE as it should be, based on the preference described in the law. So Bradley Development LLC is the company that you need to get in contact with. Now we're going to take you on a journey and follow this journey, and you'll see why you want to contact Bradley Development at 804-247-0537. And as well, email at bradmgt1@gmail.com. That is how you can reach us. That is how you can begin to be a part of this new world order and how you can receive your reparation that's already there.
New World Order and awarding of governmental contracts to MBEs, whether construction or professional services. Bradley Development recognized that the latest Commonwealth of Virginia disparity study in 2011 exposed that 98% of contracts awarded were to white firms, with 2% among the 5 MBE member groups. Bradley Development is the proctor agent that will defend your opportunities while protecting your rights during procurement transactions. For information, phone 804-247-0537.
Here we are where it all started. It was called Hope 6 over here in the Blackwell community. This is where Hope 6 was to start what the enactment of the HUD Act of 1968 would have effectively done. See the houses, the multifamily houses. This is what was supposed to happen. For them to be able to be self-sufficient, upward mobility. But the key factor was that the recipients were to be awarded the contracts to do the work, not the opposite. Here in Richmond, we're being trained as a workforce. A workforce for who? Whereas we can be trained to be our own entrepreneurs, electricians, plumbers, heating. This is the brick and mortar work. They're doing the development that you're going to see Creighton Court. So this is what HUD set up. The problem is enforcement. Bradley Development LLC provides the services that enforces that. We are very much familiar with every phase and every stage of the process in awarding the contract. That is very vital. You have to know in respect to the notification. Have you heard of when it's happening? Do you know where it's at? Bradley Development helps you with that. What about the criteria rating points? Do you know whether or not you have made all of those? Bradley Development helps you with that. When they open up the bid, do you have a representative to make sure that it's vetted properly and that you still get your 55% chance of opportunity of being awarded that? Bradley Development takes care of that. If there's a problem, who do you have to help protest that awarding of the contract? These are part of the services that Bradley Development brings to you to make sure that it works correctly. We've seen that the government and the local governing bodies have attempted to make it work. It has not worked. So much so that the disparity study for the Commonwealth of Virginia has stated in 2011 that 98% of the government contracts go to white firms. How is that? When the preference is for the recipients, the Section 3 residents, the housing residents, the Section 8 voucher recipients, those that meet the area medium income level of poverty. Why aren't they getting the job? Because you haven't heard or had the services of Bradley Development LLC. So contact me and get on our database, the database that's going to assure you that you be notified and assure you that all opportunities is there for you, as well as making sure the vendors know who you are and where you're at. Now, as we continue this journey of the Community Development Block Grant fundings and the utilization, here we are now at Creighton Court. Creighton Court is the next project of big magnitude that we are familiar with. It is to tear this down and rebuild it just as they did with Hope 6, which we just left. So remember, this is what Hope 6 was. It did improve the community, it did help that, but the problem was the residents that was a benefit to the Section 3 did not benefit. And so therefore you had a low percentage that was able to then afford the homes that was made there. Let's change this now. Here we are now here again at Creighton Court. We're in the midst of this development going up. This is the site where the new multifamily structures as well as the community center will be built, right across from the Creighton Court development. Now we need to understand that again we're dealing with community development block grant money, and that money is to be prioritized to be awarded to you, the Section 3 resident, who is a housing resident, who is a Section 8 voucher recipient, and those who live in the metropolitan area that makes less than $40,000 that might even have their own business. So here you have the design of what they're going to do, and here you see Richmond Redevelopment Housing in partners with the city of Richmond, along with the normal, typical people. But where are the Section 3 business concerns? Where are the black businesses? That's what this is about. So as you look down here, you'll see this is the site where they're to be building the next segment of phases of homes, over 77 homes that they'll be building. Now we have presented to them an African American company that is also a Section 3 business concern that has the capacity to build these homes because they built the Randolph homes, the 77 homes, and that is BFE, owned by Mr. Al Bowers. He also has an academy that can train within an 8-week period over 320 people in the trades. Construction, painting, electrical, plumbing. This is where we need to focus. So this is what Bradley Development LLC is presenting to you in the form of reparation through the Community Development Block Grant funding that the federal government has made available to us, but has not happened. And the services that Bradley Development LLC provides for you is what makes sure and guarantee you at least a 55% guaranteed chance of being awarded the contract.
Reparations. Beginning Saturday, August 4th, 2018 at 12 o'clock noon. Reparations. A brand new talk show that could change the way business is done. Reparations. Hosted by Earl Bradley. Reparations. On RichmondSoulRadio.com. Brought to you by Bradley Development LLC. Don't miss economic empowerment enacted by laws and your rights on Reparations. Premiering Saturday, August 4th, 2018, 12 o'clock noon on RichmondSoulRadio.com. Reparations.
As you can see, there's a lot of economic development progress going on in the city of Richmond. And here we are at the market on 25th Street, the development that's going on. Again, the question remains, how much MBE participation? how many minorities was involved in the construction of the property, not just being hired to work in the particular grocery store. These are the issues that we must address. Bradley Development LLC services provide this avenue to make sure. Why? Because it's the law. The City of Richmond's goal is a 20% MBE participation. We need to see whether or not the city even met that goal. So knowing that we have a goal, a threshold of 20%, that's what we can start at. So Bradley Development is also making sure that whether it's taxpayer dollars or federal dollars, as they work in conjunction, you are able to be awarded the contracts that you should be because of the preference established within the law. This is where it all begins. The Community Development Block Grant money that was signed in enactment in HUD Act of 1968, and in that period, this is the agency that the money was given to in order to be able to award the contracts to the preferred targeted community. And what is that targeted community? They're defined as Section 3 business residents. They are those that live in the housing residence. It is those that are Section 8 voucher recipients. It is those that meet the annual median income requirement, which means if you're a family of four and you make less than $40,000, which 80% of the population fits you. So you fit that description. The tools that the federal government has provided in order for us to be awarded the contracts is right there in writing. But Bradley Development LLC is the only company, the only firm that has identified this to you and is there providing the service to assure you 55% chance of being awarded the contract based on HUD guidelines. It is your preference to get this job. So we need to make sure it happens. So I'm going to give you the phone number and the email address to contact me in order to be a part of the database. That's going to be a new world order, a database that would definitely be of notification to you of any projects, as well as solicitations to any vendors that come into your particular jurisdiction to make sure they are honoring the MBE participation regulations. As we continue this journey, we're now over here in the Dove Court. This is the area where they did the housing as well. Multifamily, tore down and came back with different properties. And see, because again they did not finish, should I say comply, this is a product where they didn't even build back doors. These properties, the folks cannot even have, they do not have a back door to lead out of. How can you design and build a property to where they don't? But that's here or there. The point that Bradley Development LLC is making to you is that this is the opportunity that's supposed to be afforded to you, the Section 3 resident, to be able to construct and build these based on a valid engineering drawing. Here I'm showing you the Office of Inspector General's report that RRHA, during the period of building these homes, failed to comply. I do not want you to think that this was by Earl Bradley and the complaint isn't that. Here you can see for yourself. The results of the audit states the finding. The authority did not comply with HUD procurement requirements when procuring services. This happened during the period of the construction of these properties. RHA was sanctioned $6.5 million for that. But this isn't what Bradley Development is bringing to you or complaining about. This is telling you what the real world is about, and Bradley Development provides the services that gets you through all of this. Because once you know what the oversight and what phases are, then that's when you can do that. So I'm encouraging you to get in contact with Bradley Development so that you can be a part of the future. And we're going to take a journey to see some of the other possibilities that's coming around in the city of Richmond. You have this opportunity. Let's get on board and let's start the first phase, the database.
New World Order at awarding of governmental contracts to MBEs, whether construction or professional services. Bradley Development recognized that the latest Commonwealth of Virginia disparity study in 2011 exposed that 98% of contracts awarded were to white firms, with 2% among the 5 MBE member groups. Bradley Development is the proctor agent that will defend your opportunities while protecting your rights during procurement transactions. For information, phone 804-247-0537.